So we kind of talked about what grade you guys and stuff were in. Do you have any idea what I do? How many of you know? Raise your hand if you know. You know? You guys know? Have we checked one of you guys before? No? Do you hunt or fish? A little bit? Okay. You guys? Okay. Who all is interested in this field of work? Or are you just here to see what's up? See what's up? All right. Nobody that, if you actually want to do this, raise your hand. Like any of you guys? Kind of on the fence? Okay. Well, I'll kind of give you a big overview of what my job is, and then kind of mixed with some other opportunities that are in like the DNR field. There's obviously a lot of different types of jobs in the DNR. It's not just us as conservation officers, but obviously that's what I am, so that's what we'll kind of talk about, and I'll touch on those few other things. So I graduated here in 2011. It's been quite a while now. It doesn't seem like it, but walking through the halls, I could tell it's been a long time. I don't even remember where everything's at anymore. So I was here K through 12. I played I did four sports: football, basketball, track, and baseball. I'm sure you guys probably do some sports. Looking ahead into your future, like sports are going to help you with any of that stuff. That discipline that you're going to get from doing sports, that dedication is going to help you with whatever career path you take. So, if you're in that stuff, good for you. If you're not, that's fine too. But I'm forward a little bit because I did it when I was in high school. So after high school, I went to SCC down in West Burlington. I graduated with my AA degree there, and I coached track for a couple years here at Mediapolis while I was doing that. And then I put this at the bottom. I worked 30 hours a week to pay for college and reduce student loan debt. Even if you don't have a ton of money, it doesn't mean you can't still go to college or go to something else. You can always get a job, work towards that stuff. So, all it takes is some dedication. So even if you don't have tons of money, just still go to college and work on paying that stuff down as you go. So after SCC, after my 2-year degree, I went to Iowa State. I went up there in 2013. I did take 3 years. It's not because I didn't pass my classes, but when you go to a community college, and you guys probably have a lot more opportunities than I did, but there's a lot of college credits you can earn, and either in high school or at that community college. When I went to the community college, I did not know that some of my biology credits would not transfer. So if you're, no matter what field it is, if you guys think a class is going to help you, into your college and you're not going to have to take it, make sure you talk with an advisor and work through that stuff to make sure it's going to transfer. Otherwise, it may take you longer in college. So my major at Iowa State was animal ecology with a wildlife option, and then I minored in criminal justice. So I graduated from Iowa State in 2016. I put this in here at the bottom, that what my GPA was. I just school is important, obviously, but it's not that hard to get a good GPA if you're actually trying, but it's not necessary that you have a 4.0 either. Just make sure you get through your classes, learn your stuff. So some of the things, like if you're going to get into a field like what I am, some of the things that you can do to prepare yourself is get extra education, obviously, and then extra job duties, anything you can do to build your resume. And that goes with any field. If you're getting into banking, if you're getting into finance, whatever it is, you're going to have to try to prepare yourself with other job opportunities to set yourself apart from that other applicant that's applying. So what I did was, back in 2014, 15, and 16, I was a seasonal patrol officer for the DNR, so that was essentially my job, but it's a seasonal. So I didn't have a gun, I didn't have any of that other fun stuff, but I still enforced fishing and boating laws, and it gained me really good experience. Number 2, I was a reserve police officer for West Burlington while I was in college. I went through all the reserve training, and that was kind of helping me get into that law enforcement realm. And then while I went to college, I worked probably 25 hours a week for the parking division for DPS at Iowa State, and that was also to help kind of pay for that college stuff and have less of a student loan debt when I graduated. Obviously you don't want to graduate from college and have a $100,000 loan debt, right? So anything you can do to start knocking away at that is going to be beneficial to you. So after I graduated from Iowa State, I got hired as a Kansas game warden. Don't make fun of my hat. We had to wear them. So But I was hired down there in 2016. I went through the Kansas Law Enforcement Academy to get certified as a peace officer. And then I went through all of our game warden training down there as well. Trained in numerous disciplines down there. I was an ASP instructor, so like these, like the batons. I got certified to teach that. And then I trained all of our new hires in like boating operations and stuff like that. This is just, I threw this up there. It's kind of a neat experience that we got. When I was in Kansas, I was selected to, as part of the response team to Hurricane Harvey in Texas in 2017. So we took a bunch of airboats and stuff like that. And we were taking people out of their doorsteps in floodwaters in the hurricane. So really neat experience. Glad I got to be a part of it. But that's, you know, some of the things you get to do in this career field. So in 2018, as I said, I was a seasonal officer back in those 14, 15, 16. So I got the opportunity to come back to Iowa in 2018 in Muscatine County. So I got hired by the Iowa DNR and sworn in as a state conservation officer. Just like in Kansas, we're state certified peace officers. So our academy that we go through, like I went through in Kansas, that's the exact same thing that like the city cops or the deputies and all them go through. We're certified the same. We just focus on fishing, hunting, boating enforcement. It doesn't mean we still can't arrest somebody for OWI, drugs, you know, whatever else it is. We just focus more on the wildlife crime. So to give you a little bit of an overview of the Iowa DNR, so I'm in the law enforcement division, okay? We're known as conservation officers. A lot of you guys have probably heard it if you hunt and stuff. You probably heard DNR officer. The DNR is a lot bigger than just us, okay? So it's got all of your water quality, air quality, all those other entities all within the DNR. So currently there's 80 conservation officers across 99 counties. So there's not even one of us per county. So conservation officers, just like I said, a small portion. There's 1,170 employees with the DNR. So it's, with only being 80 of us being conservation officers, very small portion. To give you an overview of how the DNR looks, if you guys are interested in engineering, if you're interested in any type of legal services, like being a lawyer, if you're interested in air quality, water quality, wildlife biology, anything to do with like managing for animals, that's all encompassed within the DNR. It's just separate divisions, but there's numerous ways that you can work for the state and work for the DNR. Our benefits are really good. So we're, you know, your healthcare, your 401k, all that kind of stuff is really good benefits for working for the state. You might make a little bit less in some of those areas as opposed to like working in the private sector, but it's all really good benefits. So that gives you an overview, guys, of how big it is with all the different bureaus. We're the Con and Rec Bureau, so we're just this one little portion of the DNR. So within that Con and Rec Bureau, it even further breaks down into all of these different parts, okay? So you have law enforcement, parks, wildlife, engineering, fisheries, forestry. All those other things are all in that one little bureau, or all in that one little part from before. And then we're just in this one little piece of that. So then we go to the next. Once you're in the law enforcement bureau, it even breaks down further. So moral of the story is DNR is huge, a lot of different opportunities. We're just a small portion. So this is an overview map. This is going to show you our law enforcement bureau of who is stationed where. So like we're in Des Moines County right now. So your officer here that works primarily here is Paul K. It's got his number there. I'm up here in Muscatine County. Okay, so our mission is to conserve and enhance our natural resources in cooperation with individuals and organizations to improve the quality of life in Iowa and ensure legacy for future generations. So if we didn't exist, what do you think people would do? Would there be as good a wildlife, as good a deer, turkey, fish numbers? No, because people would just over-harvest all that stuff. So that's why we're here in place. We make sure that everybody buys licenses and has their correct tags, shoots the correct amount of ducks, fish, whatever it is, okay? Go back one second. So day-to-day duties include enforcement, investigations, outreach, and education. So I'm not just a license checker. I also have to do all of our investigations. So if we have a deer that's poached or a hunting accident or a boating accident, I have to be in charge of all that stuff too. So it's not just like a patrol deputy that's looking for speeders on the highway. I have to do the investigation side of it too. And I threw this on the bottom just to show you guys when I was in your age gosh, I'm drawing a blank what her name was, Alsop's English class. I did a presentation on being a conservation officer in Iowa. For some reason, this was the toughest thing for me to find. But our starting salary for employees is $65,000, and then we top out at about $110,000 after about 11 years. So I'm going to kind of go through. I know I got a little bit of time. I want to leave time for questions too, but I'm going to go through kind of what we do and all the different things that encompass our job throughout the year. So we do community outreach programs. I come talk to you guys like this. We do hunter education programs. We do Special Olympics. And this stuff is all paid, okay? So we're doing all this stuff. It's not just volunteer. So like in that picture there, we do the torch run up in Ames, and that raises money for all the Special Olympics athletes. So when we get into like the spring and summer boating enforcement months, my job primarily switches to doing nothing but boating and fishing enforcement. So, and then as we go further on, we do kids fishing programs. That's a Cops and Bobbers event. We're out there looking for boating while intoxicated people, different boating violations, life jackets, tubing violations, anything to do on the water. That's pretty much my whole summer is out there. So including like the firework nights, most of my firework shows are from a boat anymore. We also help fishery staff with doing some sampling. It's not something we do every day. So if you're interested in, just the fishery side of things, my job is not primarily that. We're in charge of dealing with accidents. So anytime there's a boat accident, hunting accident, like I said earlier, we're in charge of being the lead investigator of those. That picture there on the left is a boat that had capsized and two people that were pretty lucky to be alive. And these photos on the right were actually trucks that had went into the water, or vehicles that went into the water, and we have to find those on side scan sonar. And that's what you're seeing, kind of those images there from a boat. So as we go through into summer and early fall, we kind of switch from that boating standpoint, and now we're looking for people fishing, people that are doing things illegally, illegal cast netting, and then like this picture here, I've got a bazillion other pictures I could have put on here, guys, but this is just an example from this year, or from last year. I was watching a guy that was suspended. He had a bunch of wildlife crime, and he could not have a license, and then he caught all these fish illegally. As we get into the fall months, we switch into like dove season, duck season, pheasant season. So we're looking at checking all of those people for licenses and compliance. Picture on the left there, a guy had killed some killdeer, obviously not a legal bird to kill or to harvest, and he was smoking a little weed too. So he got some charges with both those. This guy was driving around. He actually ran from me. He shot this pheasant out of the vehicle with a pistol on property he didn't have permission, and then took off running from me and chucked it all out the window. That's why it's broke. So. Most of my fall pretty much revolves around a lot of surveillance. So if I'm not checking licenses, I'm looking at, sitting back in the weeds, watching to see how many ducks somebody's killing, how many deer they're shooting, how many fish they're catching, whatever it is. And that's kind of some examples of some tools that we use with spotting scopes, binoculars. Very popular this time of year, deer baiting. People are hunting deer over bait. Very illegal for us in Iowa. That middle picture was from last week. We had some guys from Georgia that were up driving around spotlighting. Very serious crime in Iowa. They lost about $5,000 worth of rifles. So people shooting swans, you name it, we come across it. So that's kind of a very, very quick overview. I knew I didn't have a half hour to talk to you guys. So we got about 5 minutes. If you have any questions about the career, any questions about the DNR in general, raise your hand or just yell it out. Sure.
Do you do anything with the local campsites?
So we have park rangers within our bureau, and they deal with like the state campgrounds. And then the local campsites you're probably talking about are more of like the county conservation board, and they handle all that stuff. We do more of the hunting, fishing, boating, trapping, and not really the campground side of things. So. What's up?
Do you guys deal with CWD still, or is that a big thing?
Yeah, so that could open a can of worms, but CWD is, I'm going to try to quickly explain this, a pretty bad deer disease. It's spreading throughout the Midwest. It's having a hindrance on a lot of states' deer herds and how they're managing it. It's going to be around. There's no getting rid of CWD. It's just how we're going to react to CWD when it gets here. There's been several counties around us that have tested positive deer with it. But yeah, it's going to be a continued surveillance and trying to keep those numbers down.
So
So
you guys deal with a deer that has CWD?
we have to put it down, and it's going to have to be either buried or gotten rid of, because if you just throw it out in the landscape, CWD is a prion-based disease. So when you start looking at science classes and you learn anything about diseases, prions are very, very small particles in your brain, and that it's a protein, and that protein in their brain messes with their other proteins and gets them all messed up. They can't eat very well. They get real confused, real skinny, and it's always fatal to them. So it's kind of one of those diseases that if you're looking at doing a science project on any kind of science or disease class, it's one to look into because it's interesting. So, yes.
What's like the most annoying thing you have to deal with like very often?
The most annoying thing, technology, computers, reports, timesheets, you name it. It's where you guys all know you're coming up in the technology world, but everything that I do now has to be documented. I don't have my body camera on right now, but I have a body camera. Every contact that I make has to be recorded. Every time I write a ticket or arrest somebody, it's got to have a documentation with it. If I get in a pursuit or draw my gun on somebody, all that has to have documentation with it and reports. And then you have to go to court for all of that stuff too. So it's really, technology can be a hindrance in my job, but obviously I understand why we have it, but it gets pretty annoying because there's always new systems and new technologies coming up. So, anybody else?
What would you say are good classes for them to take in high school that helped you prepare for college for?
Biology, chemistry, and your math stuff. So any degree in like animal ecology is typically going to come back to like animal biology, like 201. I don't know what they are anymore, but like 201, 202. You have to have those basic biology courses to continue on through that. So the earlier you can get those classes, whether it be in high school or at the community college level, it's going to help you not have to take near as much when you get to college. So science, biology, chemistry, you got to take your steps up from chemistry, from Chem 1, organic chem, all that stuff. So, trying to get some of those lower level progressions out of the way while you're in high school or shortly after is going to help you. So, anything else, guys?
Any piece of advice before they're out of here in 1 minute?
Piece of advice. If you guys want to do this or you have anything else in your mind, just don't give up on a dream. If it's something you want to do, I started as a sophomore, junior, right in your guys' shoes. I wanted to do this. I set my mind to it and didn't take my foot off the pedal the whole time, trying to get experience in college going towards that. So if you guys have a dream, whatever it is, it may be this, it may be not, just don't stop working towards it. So, okay.
Perfect.
Nothing else?
Thank you.
Quick 20 minutes. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.